No, your microphone is working just fine, but we are talking about another Silent Hill movie. This one came out in 2012, and if you caught Saturday's episode, I hope that you have at least a little bit of curiosity, even if these stories aren't for you, because these definitely have a guilty rating due to the content. But this one is a continuation of the story. Now, if you've seen the first one, you may be wondering how did they continue it, because when we last saw how things left, it didn't really appear that there was going to be much more to it. But there's a lot more than meets the eye. Now, I will say, I want to just kind of help remind people, these are movies for gamers or for fans of like The Last of Us, The Walking Dead, those types of stories that where it's more gore than entertainment, where there's not a whole lot of substance, but a lot of just the bleh type stuff going on. That is what you get with these. Now, this one kind of did something different. This one's called Silent Hill Revelation. This one came out in 3D. Now, mind you, when I watched it here at home, it was just in regular definition, so no 3D. But I could definitely tell the scenes that had been 3D just because the way that it just plays out is a little bit different. Now, like I said, if you are not a fan of these stories, I hope that you'll at least get something out of these reviews. Maybe if somebody is randomly talking about this one, at least you can participate in the conversation about it or something or other. So hang with me. I can guarantee it's always going to be worth it, because with me, it's always an adventure, because I'm interrogating these movies for not just their plot, but for their content. And yes, I am wearing my traditional Paws Need Claws shirt because it's just something I very, very strongly believe in, that we should not be cutting our kitty's fingertips off at the first knuckle. So that is, yeah, so love me or hate me, that is a very strong stance that I have on that. And I will keep fighting until it does come to an end. But back to the movie. Let's jump over and check out the trailer. So I want you to check this out with me and see what you think. As always, the following preview has been approved for appropriate audiences. There is a town that calls home.
Come on, kiddo. It's just a dream.
You're calling me. I gotta go. Don't want to be late to the first day of school.
You know, I worry.
Don't worry.
For 6 years, they have run from the past.
This is the 5th school I've been to since I was 11.
You all right?
But the nightmare wants her back. Now I'm going to pause this real quick right here. Who are we talking about? Well, the teenager that you see here is young Sharon, as she has been growing up a little bit. But sorry, one of my kitties is serenading. But we see Chris and we see Sharon, but we don't see Rose. Why is that? You know me, no spoilers. But as you can see, Sharon has grown up a little bit. Except she is Sharon, but she's not, because that kind of has to do with what's been going on with her and her dad. Taro, you got your toy? Come here. Come here. Can I have you? No? He won't let me pick him up at the moment. He's been kind of cranky. But back to this. Like I said, Sharon and her dad have been on the run, but how did Sharon escape the void? Well, that and more are kind of explained in this one. That would be a major spoiler if I ruin that, but obviously she did escape. But like I said, where's Rose and how does that play into all of that? And who is this young male that you kind of see her with in some of these scenes? We'll get into a little bit more of that, but as you know me, no spoilers ever.
I think there's someone following me.
Come back here, Sharon.
Love you. Thanks for welcoming me back.
Yeah.
Dad!
That's something her dad made her promise that she would never do, is return to Silent Hill under any circumstances. So when it's written on the wall in blood, return to Silent Hill, and her dad's nowhere to be found, what is she to do?
What's going on?
I know that symbol. This is it.
Do you know what that is?
Where is my father?
The darkness is coming. It's safer to be inside. Run.
This debuted on Halloween. It's a week of Halloween. The secret.
What does it unlock?
The true nature of things.
One
You
destiny.
were chosen to destroy the demon.
One Grady revelation.
We're already
It's
here.
funny, she says go to hell. Like I said, this just kind of goes across the boundaries with that. This is what I did for the podcast image. I didn't change anything except adding some red to the eyes. And then I just kind of squared it off a little bit. But though her eyes don't glow in the movie, and you may be wondering who's the girl in the poster, well, that's, again, not as easily explained. But if you've seen the first movie, you might be able to put two and two together of who this young girl is. Back to the regular poster now. You may notice that the poster is not completely in English. And like I've said before, I choose the poster that I just feel fits what I'm going for the most. And you can tell her eyes are like a greenish color here. But I added that red tint to them on the podcast image. But getting back to the story, so Rose Sharon ends up back in Silent Hill, and she must try to rescue her dad. Now, in order to do so, it involves going into the depths of the darkness. Now, I will say, if you have a fear of clowns, if you have a fear of creatures without faces, if you have a fear of anything gory, this is definitely not for you. Story-wise, it didn't quite have as much going on as the first one did, and even the first one was a little bit weak. I will say, like, on the first one, I kind of had my own score a bit higher than what the deputy score ended up being on that one. On this one, I'm kind of right there with it, right with where I'm at on the deputy rating scale, which, of course, is my own on that. But again, I'm right in that category of between watchable but forgettable. And if you really must see it, wait for it to be on DVD, Blu-ray. Silent Hill Revelation 3D is actually available on Amazon Prime Video at no additional charge. I don't know how long that's going to be for. So if you check it and that's no longer the case, I apologize. But as of at least right now, this one is available to watch that way. The first one is available to rent for like $3.99 or to buy for $4.99. Again, on Amazon Prime Video. But you may have, who knows, maybe you collected the DVDs back in the day and you can watch it that way. If you are interested in seeing this one, I do recommend seeing the first one. There's a lot of references in this that will not make sense. And even as the story concludes, the ending is not what you would expect. The ending is not as predictable as what you might expect. If you're really paying attention, you can figure it out. And it's kind of obvious, but it's just not as predictable as it might seem. Tara, what are you doing? Or he's chewing on a feather. But like I said, the ending on this one is, I don't know, it just kind of leaves you wondering with where they went with the new Return to Silent Hill. I'm like, okay, with the way that they wrapped it up at the end of this one, it leaves even less of an idea of where they could go from there, unless now if we're talking about Sharon's kids. This is pure conjecture. I have not even seen a trailer for the new one yet. And I try not to delve too deep into the new titles. I want to wait and just see how the movie is. And a lot of times I check out the trailers after the fact, unless they like show up before a movie is getting ready to play. And sometimes I'm running a little bit behind, so I don't always get in there in time to catch all of the trailers. But for Silent Hill Revelation 3D, again, this is a guilty rating. And if you're not familiar with that, a guilty is 13 and above, safe is 12 and below. I would say this one, upper teens to adults, would probably be the most recommended age range. And adults, I use that loosely. I think by the time you're in your early to mid 30s, you'd probably lose interest in one like this. Like I said, unless you're a diehard gamer that is a fan of the Silent Hill games. There's like 5 or 6 of the Silent Hill games, and a new one coming out probably because of the new movie as well. But score-wise, this might surprise you and this might not, but I'm coming in at just a 3.25 out of 10 on the deputy scale. Now, you may be going, and I apologize if that's the case, but there's just, it's lacking in a lot of areas. And like I said, if you're a fan of the game, you're going to get a lot out of it. If not, this one just doesn't have enough to stand on its own. So, as always, I hope that helps a little bit. I hope you've enjoyed this adventure with me and as we go through the trailer and talk about the movie a little bit and the characters. But I want to say that there's a twist in this one, but it's not really a twist because I kind of figured it out as it was happening. But I've talked to a couple people that are like, oh, I didn't understand that till it was towards the end. And I'm like, it's just interesting how people can look at movies in a different way and have a different perspective on them altogether. But as always, like I said, this is an adventure, and I hope that you make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, that you always get the latest and the greatest Movie Deputy content. And as always, I will be back with another movie for you very soon. Bye.